Remember, boys, no matter how random things might appear, there's still a plan.
Now it's a party! Yo, Jesus!
This is beyond nuts, boss.
It gets better.
And he makes the catch! I'm a real soldier. I'm a ranger, baby. What you got?
I'm too young to die!
Damn it!
I mean, listen, I think that in the same way that I think Chris Nolan did a beautiful job of removing the kitsch from Batman, and in removing that element of it, I think they got down to some kind of basic core level of what that story was all about. And I think with the A-Team, what I was interested in is for special operator, special forces guy. So I didn't want to get too bogged down in or embedded by this notion that I owed the fan base, or of which there are, millions, anything more than, here's my take on it, here's my 2 cents, this is what I want to give you, this is what I'm willing to see, and then beyond that, let's just make something really interesting. Oh, turn that fucking thing on.
You're carried away. Nice! Got it! Moving on!
Okay, so we had a 6-day week last week, which are always a joy, and then finished late Saturday night, so we're back here first thing early Monday morning. What we're doing right now is the A-Team's escape from Mexico, from General Tuco, who's obviously we named after Tuco from Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Eli Wallach's character, and a little homage to Sergio Leone, which is why we're shooting here in Kamloops. It feels very much like a kind of a western, deserty locale that's in the middle of British Columbia.
That's a deck chopper, sir. That's a flying gun.
All aboard!
It's gonna be a turkey shooting. We're the turkeys! We're the turkeys! Come on, boys! We ain't no turkey. I ain't no turkey, fool! Come on! And cut! That was a nice piece, guys. Very nice.
So we're out here today. We got all the boys. We got Hannibal. We got Face, B.A., Murdoch.
What's the most important part of the well-oiled plan?
He's one step ahead of your enemy. Not be running away from him.
Running. Who said anything but running?
Where are we going? Where are we going in this piece of shit with this freak
fly.
show?
Yeah.
I'd rather cross the border in a bicycle. I don't care if this guy's a descendant of the Wright
How many
brothers.
years have you known me? How many years? Have I ever let you down?
Repeatedly.
And I think working with Bradley and letting these guys go off the script and developing the stuff in the moment is always a blast. It's always a lot of fun. We did a lot of that in Smoking Aces, but it's been even more so on this, because I thought, with a guy like Rampage, we could make up for his lack of experience by letting him really kind of live in the moment.
I don't care if this guy's a descendant of the Wright brothers.
That's the wrong brother to be flying us out here, Hannibal.
And then just seeing, I guess, Liam for the first time as Hannibal was a thrill.
It's a different era from when the A-Team TV series was done, and audiences have matured a lot from what they expect from seeing these sorts of movies.
You know, someone like Liam, I think, sends a message to the industry at large, to the world at large, that this is a certain kind of movie. Liam brings, you know, gravitas, a real sense of this muscularity to the proceedings.
Look at you clowns. You're not soldiers. You're assassins on polos.
Who make in a week what you make in a year?
Cash don't buy guts, kid.
You know, I mean, it's like Liam Neeson, it's Oscar Schindler, it's Michael Collins, the guy from The Mission. It's, you know, it's insane. I think that once he was cast, he was the first one cast, that certainly everybody sort of popped their head and went, oh, okay, this is the kind of movie Joe Carnahan wants to make. It was Liam Neeson being attached to play Hannibal that I thought, holy shit, I want to do this.
And as soon as they said, you know, do you know it's Joe Carnahan and it's Liam Neeson and Bradley Cooper, and I was like, oh, okay.
Hello, yes, we're standing here on the set of the A-Team. You can see behind me, we're down on the docks, everything's happening. With Rampage Jackson, the champion UFC fighter. Obviously, those of you who know him, if you don't, please Google Rampage Jackson highlights. You'll see what a tough man he is.
4th Battalion, Fort Bend, Georgia. I know who you are, sir. Corporal B.A. Baracus.
They killed it with Rampage playing B.A. Baracus. To me, that's 70% of the movie. 70% of the movie's done. Like, in the can, success.
Checking to see how quick Rampage is. If I was just standing here, if I just stood here and I just kind of went, boom, I hit him. Look at that. And then if I hit him again. And then I hit him again. Boom. You're not as fast as I thought you'd be. Look at that. Boom, boom. I got bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam.
You see in Rampage the very raw thing that is BA. You know, I can't imagine anybody being disappointed by Rampage's portrayal of this guy.
First of all, he doesn't have to act tough. He is tough, so that's nothing he has to play. And because of that, he's got room to just do so many other things, as opposed to another actor who may try to embody a tough guy. It's just in his DNA.
And his laugh, if you ask people, like, name the 5 things you'll miss the most, Rampage's laugh has got to be top 3.
You get out the way with that. Well, B.A. is actually me and my dad put together. That's what B.A. is, you know, and him and Murdoch, man, make me laugh all the time.
Oh, now you see, now it's getting nerve-wracking. It's starting to, he's amping it up now. This is not going good. You see, he does that. Oh, shit! Okay, I don't want to play this game anymore.
I never thought that anybody really understood what the A-Team was except those of us who were making it. The comedy and the relationship all played between the A-Team characters. It was the 4 of these guys stuck in a helicopter yabbling at each other, and that's where the fun of the show was.
Whoa, you guys see these bullets in 3D? It's like you're really being shot at.
You are getting shot at, crazy ass fool.
I mean, A-Team was my favorite show as a kid. Honestly, no, seriously.
He knows I'm such a big fan. I was so gobsmacked.
An A-Team birthday cake?
Dude, I had an A-Team cake with Mr. T on it when I was like 11 years old.
A-Team was crazy when I was a kid, you know, so I used to watch it with my dad, my brothers, and I just fell in love with it, man. It was cool, you know. I love this job.
My kids watch them. They're still rerun on television. They get a real kick out of them.
This is going to be embarrassing, but I don't really know much about the original A-Team. I've never actually seen an episode.
Obviously, there's similarities because it's based on the TV show, but I think the only way that I really look at it basically is I don't even think about the TV show.
I think if you're going to make a feature film out of something, you better elevate it. You know, you better go this way and not the other way, and make everybody hate your guts because you destroyed their childhood dreams. And
I thought if, you know, with his sensibility and the way he looks at material, he's the one that could turn it into something that was fun and youthful and energetic, but also kind of has that edge to it.
Granted, there are fantastic kind of scenes in this that certainly belie logic and the laws of physics and a lot of other things, but there's still that core sensibility of these guys as a team, I think, is absolutely intact.
When I first read the script, I was really taken with the relationship between these 4 guys, that Joe and the other writers who had worked on it had managed to keep this wonderful heart.
Get your hands on the handcuffs, you understand? I will walk out, I will not go out!
danger of taking something as, I guess, as beloved as the A-Team and turning it into a feature film is invariably you're going to alienate certain people, fan base in particular, if you don't do certain things, you don't kind of hit certain marks. And I was very cognizant of that. I think what worked on television 25 years ago wouldn't necessarily work, you know, as a motion picture.
Make sure you have plenty of tape when we do this again.
Brian Bloom and I started writing something we felt would have appeal for people that knew nothing about the television show.
The first thing was to imagine how each one of the characters would quote-unquote grow up, and yet in some ways some of them got younger, but they needed to be modernized.
What Joe managed to do was to capture the essence of the A-Team, the power of them, you know, and the fun, especially the fun, and translate that into a very modern idea.
You know, BA's got the mohawk, and I kept the kind of silver-maned Hannibal with the cigar, and BA's fear of flying, and obviously Murdoch's not, you know, rehabilitated. He's still clinically insane.
But they'll never take our freedom! You gotta do that! You gotta do that! Dude, that's perfect!
But again, in bringing it into this time and place, I think certain things had to change. Nice. Pop it in, brother. Nice. Okay. Relief. That was a long run. Made me work for that one, big man.
Oh, you made me work for that one, big man.
Okay, start walking, brother. Start walking. Charge it. Yeah, it's gone really well so far. We're on schedule. We're 14 days in out of 73, so we got a little ways to go. We shot a surveillance sequence here, and we turned the Vancouver Convention Center to the Frankfurt train station. Charlie Woods, the production designer, did a hell of a job. I can't tell. I mean, I looked at it, and with the exception of the giant green screen where the train should be, you thought you were in a train station. And if you look across the way here, you see park plots, and you see all this German signage, Stadtdruckerei, Frankfurt am Main.
We get nice police cars in Germany.
About to shoot a big stunt sequence where Pike, played by Brian Bloom, who's one of our chief bad guys, chases the A-Team out of the Königsbank, which is supposed to be in Frankfurt, Germany, standing in for lovely Frankfurt, lovely Vancouver, British Columbia.
See what you got, Compton. Come on. You and me. Now I got my blood. Oh, I do want it. I do want it.
It's such an honor to fight the man.
What was it like fighting man? You know what, man? He's not fighting back, so it's easy. He's making me look good.
This is right after the big confrontation, the fight with Pike and BA. And basically, there's the one moment they have where Pike starts to begin to back up and doesn't know Hannibal's coming in with the vehicle. And they take off, and the chase begins.
So he's going to come out of this building here. A lot of glass is going to go. He's going to vault a couple of cars here that wreck in front of him, and he's going to continue kind of firing at the team. And we're going to try to do this in one long handheld shot, because I want to beat the opening of Narc, which all filmmakers try to beat themselves. This is going to be something if we can pull it off. I mean, it's really going to be something, because it's pretty ambitious, hopefully ambitious, and not stupid, because there's a fine line between the two. Action!
This is the part you didn't get. You're under arrest.
I think it's really important to Joe, I mean to all of us really, to appear as skilled as possible.
Joe has a sort of a grittiness, which that really excited me about this project and working with him. And I'd seen Narc, which was just amazing.
They even got like a real military personnel trainers and weapons, and straight up legit 100.
We've had a lot of gun practice, and it's been fascinating.
Oh my God! He's got a gun! He's got a gun, that man right there!
And I've learned how to work the weapons and work the guns. I'm never going to war. I'm never going to use it, but it's good to just know it for going to the shooting range and just impressing my friends.
I'm from South Africa, so having good gun training is very helpful. No, I'm kidding. We're a dangerous country.
I haven't done any of that training yet, but I love guns, yeah. I wish I shot more.
I would say we've seen well over 100 types of weapons used on the A-Team. And ammo-wise, we're probably going to push close to 100,000 rounds by the time we're done this show. That includes training, lots of cast training. We fired 30 to 40,000 rounds in cast training alone, and then probably another 50 to 60 just on the film itself since we started 4 months ago. When you're on the A-Team, everything's full auto. Because there's lots of rounds down range, lots of action, and it gives the scene a lot more exciting than your single bang, bang, bang.
Joe loves action, so that's the best part. He loves the stunt guys, and he's a big fan of action movies. So, he likes to keep things as real as possible. So most of the action doesn't look like it's stunty.
You know, in the original A-Team, nobody ever dies. They, you know, flip over a car and then you see them crawling out. And Joe's style of action is a lot harder.
And have the actors involved as much as possible. That was a really important thing, to have them involved and not just always depend on just the doubles, but get them involved as much as we can with the action, which they have been.
There's quite a bit of running and gunfire and explosions. You've just got to have your wits about you and keep your body well adjusted.
Bloom went 110 feet down the side of a building on a wire on a cable for a gag for second unit. And it's so funny, the second unit director made a comment like, you know, you can never get some jerk-off actor to do this.
Action!
Hold them there, hold them there. You good?
Nothing, man. Nothing. And cut. That's good. Okay, going higher, that's good.
So much of what happens in this movie in terms of the stunts that the cast is involved in are actually pretty practical. You know, we have some terrific CG, but you know, at some point, a lot of these movies, it's almost like the cast is watching it the same way the audience is. We tried to make sure that this audience is watching this cast in the middle of some serious jeopardy.
Anytime I notice that it's not the actor doing it, it takes me out of the movie, always. So, and plus that's part of why I like to do this job, is I want to experience all that stuff.
Well, there's a scene where they're stealing this container on the back of the semi, and as the truck is driving down the road, Bradley Cooper is underneath the semi.
I was underneath the semi, going like 35 miles an hour. It's 30. I'm trying to punch it up, but it was 30, it wasn't 35. Felt like 60, but I was literally underneath it, you know, doing all this stuff and then rotating, and it was, when were we going to be underneath the semi?
There's a particular gag that is a comedy-based gag which involves Murdoch trying to jump-start a car. And it was quite fascinating because it was a stunt guy doing this unbelievable stunt where he's literally pulled from underneath the hood of the car, does a somersault, lands on the bonnet of the car, closes the bonnet, falls down in front of the vehicle, and I pop up as me, kind of hair crazy and electric shock. And it was just interesting because it was a creative gag that relied on me and the stunt guys' kind of timing and performance.
Brian, you all right?
We're on the Vancouver docks at the moment, which is standing in for the Long Beach docks, which is where the finale of the movie takes place. And unlike Long Beach, California, this is about 5 degrees right now.
Supposed to be Long Beach. Doesn't feel like Long Beach.
We're here today to have Joe walk us through the sequence on the docks. Let's let him complete his whole spiel.
The bottom line is we're gonna do everything you're seeing right here. This whole array is CG. I just want to really finish strong. That's probably it's the most important thing for the movie, certainly, because these last few moments in the life of this movie, I'm talking about the production side, are so critical. But at that moment, when they're not sure what the hell's gonna happen, a car will burst out of this container, a car will burst out of that container. Lynch has them engaged, has this other car engaged, has his team engaged the cars. They disable them. A shows up over here, BA shows up over there. We're gonna establish like that there's containers of fireworks on this ship. They jerry-rig some sort of Roman candle fire down. You realize these cars were dragging fuel. They had all these fuels. So they literally lit the docks up.
Dun 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 dun. Pretty fun, huh?
Pike sees face, sees BA, knows that the jig is up, grabs it's like, okay, hell with this, let's get it on. He takes what's called a small, which is a shoulder-launched rocket, and blows up this ship, and the whole thing capsizes, lifts, and drops all these, surrounded by these containers. So it's one of those small indie moments. It's all about character and detail.
Then that would then be the container world that we set up in our parking lot? Is that what we're saying?
I think that's a lot better for you to set it up than us.
Yeah, we need to know what the action is to getting Face and BA down.
Well, I think BA could be sliding off the side and grabs like one of those mooring cables and goes down, but then is hitting the dock and avoiding these things.
Sure.
We've got this great sequence that takes place at the docks involving a ship that's torpedoed and starts to tilt over and dump cargo onto the docks. And of course, all of that needed to be digital. We weren't going to be able to do something that big practically, even though that would have been cool. I mean, I think one of the great things about working in visual effects is it does touch on so many departments. We work with costumes if we're doing digital doubles. We work with stunts for any kind of wire removals or digital doubles. We work with the art department for set extensions and matte paintings.
Also, too, let's put some thought into what are in those containers, because then it could be a real freak show of stuff on that dock. You can have refrigerators, you can have all this shit.
Mundane consumer items.
Mundane consumer items suddenly become, they're burning, they're...
Energizer bunnies walking
Have fun.
around.
Yeah. And Charlie Wood's production designers did this brilliant job with the studios in Burnaby of creating essentially this whole world of tip containers, and you can imagine some of the things that are dangling from these containers, old cars and shipped goods, and illegal immigrants, all kinds of stuff.
You have to be very careful when you're cantilevering 6,000-7,000 pound containers off other containers and making them look as though they're just about to fall, but making sure they're absolutely safe. You can't go wrong. Certainly Helen, my supervising art director, and Dan, our art director, worked very closely with the engineers to make sure that this was safe.
BA, meanwhile, is using this kind of world of tipped containers and so on a motorcycle, going across them in this kind of evil, great escape kind of fashion. BA comes on the bike and kind of either Superman punches him or does some big stunt. Lynch finally gets to Hannibal. They have a fight, and then there's this big reveal. This thing comes up, and there's law enforcement, everybody surrounding Lynch. This is, again, a broad overview at best. All the subtleties, nuances, etc., and so on will be worked out as we write this thing this weekend.
I think whenever you work with any great director, you're going to get their personality in the movie, and Joe's personality and his sense of humor is all over this film.
He's a passionate director, very dynamic, full of zest director.
Guys, all right, here, before we go, we do something on the set, on the A-team, called the rally clap. Ready? Goes like this. Rally, 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 rally. Yeah! That's how we do it.
I mean, that's the thing with this movie, is the tone of this movie. You see very quickly, if you hang out for 5 minutes, sort of the vibe that Joe is going for.
We had to bring the ace in to close out the night. My dad has never acted professionally before. But I've never directed professionally, so that worked out.
That works
okay.
out great, yeah, absolutely.
You know, Joe's underneath it all, he knows exactly what he's doing. And so he sets a great feeling for them to work in.
He brings a great deal of what I call performance energy to the working day.
You're here on the day where I actually ruined my own film by being in it. This is one of the benefits of directing. You get to do stupid shit like this.
There's a very collaborative energy here. Joe has set the stage for anything you want to try.
He likes when you put your own stank on it. All these terms I'm learning, put your own stank on it. He funny, man. Joe is funny as hell.
And this is how I normally treat actors. It's rare when an actor treats me like that.
Bradley and Rampage and I tend to improvise massively and go off like the script's meant to go here and we like going this way, you know?
And Joe's very much a part of that. You know, he's very much a part of the humor and the improvisation as the scene's happening. He'll always shout out stuff.
A little bit more movement, go back. Smells like piss.
Smell like piss.
Pike, you're gonna want to get ice on that. BA, grab the thing, something, just throw it away.
And sometimes through earpieces that some of the actors wear, he'll feed us a line he has just thought of, which is great. It's really great. It keeps it all fresh and alive.
Let's get the earbud up to Bradley so I can talk to him during the take. Earbud.
Listen, we're not curing cancer, but if there's a language that's throughout this film, it's Joe's.
You can't use any of this stuff. You cannot use any of this, man.
He brings out something in all of us that would not happen elsewhere. And because of that trust, even for guys that are newer to it or guys that are just getting to know each other, magical things happen.
What the fuck was that? What in the fuck was that?
The mistake people make, or I think the mistake that filmmakers make, is they immediately equate the size of a production with the amount of pressure that you're under. And I think that filmmaking is inherently filmmaking. I don't care if you're doing it for 10 grand or you're doing it for 110 million. It's still the basic components of telling a story, I think, remain the same. And it still has to be compelling and interesting and intriguing. And Stephen Cannon was the only guy who was worried about making it happy. He created the show. And Steve is such a dear guy and was so effusive in his praise for what we did. And that was it, man. Game, set, match. I mean, we made him happy. We took care of the guy on whose back we built this enterprise. We're good.
It's not the show. It's a fresh, funny rehang that I'm really, really proud to be a part of. And I think you have to look back to Joe for all of this.
I really enjoy films that don't stay within the boundaries of what they're supposed to be. And I think that's what's happening here.
It's just crazy, man. And these guys are going through a lot to make it look real and legit. My acting coach ain't teaching me about this. It wasn't no blue screen in my acting class.
For a kid who's 35, this is like a dream to do this movie.
It's the movie of the A-team. Come on, let's have some fun here.
It's been an amazing experience to end up actually playing one of my favorite characters as a kid.
It's a tough job, but someone has to be sort of, the little guy in between the real men. So that's what I get to be.
Yeah, it certainly has humor, but it has a real heart to it.
We've taken, I think, as far away from the TV show as you can. But what you had was those four guys that you felt really liked one another and really cared for one another and really had one another's back. And I might be wrong, but I would submit that that's what audiences responded to. Again, just this great sense of affection and connection between these four guys. And I certainly think we've done that in spades, and I hope we have. For again, for the audience's benefit. But, like I said, I just think it's more important that if the base kind of flour and sugar are there, the cake can come out any way you like, and that's what we've done. Oh, okay. Is that it, brother? Yeah, we're good. Liam Neeson's portrayal of Hannibal was based much more on a character like Lee Marvin.
This mission is like over, Lieutenant. I clear our names. We find Pike in the plates, no matter what. Well, Hannibal's a real soldier, and he's wed to this team of brothers, and operates kind of outside of army law and government law, as one does in these movies. Still chewing the same dirt?
I am, unfortunately, down here in lovely Mexico.
What have you got for me?
I got fast air organized. Call sign is Hatchet. And that is whatever you want it to be. Okay. This is yours. I will only remind you, this guy's ranking Mexican army.
I know.
He's a general, he's dirty as sin. Just keep that in mind. I always looked at it in this weird way, like Don Corleone and his 3 sons. Liam very much emerges as the paternal figure, whereas I think in the show it was much more like these 4 guys who really loved each other, and Hannibal was the leader, but he wasn't like the father figure. He wasn't the guy that they were worried about pissing off or letting down.
How many years have you known me?
Too many.
That's how many times I've saved your ass.
Oh, well, that hurt. You know, that hurts emotionally.
The other 3 boys are absolutely chalk and cheese as regards their characters. There's flare-ups between them, and there's inevitably in every scene there's some sort of clash of personalities, but there's a mutual respect and bond there, you know?
There he is. Damn, man!
Where's my heart?
You get no hug. You
At least you weren't up there. Only reason I whoop your ass because y'all outranked me. Can't never been. Oh, I can't even remember being this pissed off. I can't even talk. I'm so damn pissed I can't even talk.
Liam has that natural quality. He's got 2 sons. It's like he just understands how to play that. He's not a far cry from a lot of those colonels and a lot of what these guys do and how they operate and how they move through the world. And in that way, I think it's a reasonably large departure from the way Picard played Hannibal.
There's a plan in everything, kid. And I love it when a plan comes together.
In the TV series, Mr. Pipard, George Pipard, always had a stogie in his mouth. I was never a cigar smoker, but if you're going to do it, you have to do it right, you know? They got me these Cuban cigars, which are reputed to be the best in the world. And it does add something to Hannibal, a contentment when a plan's going well. There's a feeling of oneness with the world when he lights that match that I totally empathize with.
You and those boys have possibly been the most valuable military asset I have ever had at my disposal.
We throw the word gravitas around all the time, but that's a guy who earns it, Liam.
We've made it a lot more edgier, but still kept a great texture of fun and true A-Team cinematic form.
Let's go hot on weapons, please.
Face loves what he does, loves to run a gun, big weapons specialist, M4 weapons. I only say that because I love the M4, so I'm pretending he does. It's really only because I've become completely obsessed with the training we've been doing. So basically just anything I like, Face likes.
Bradley got very, very, very interested in the M4 Bushmaster. He got really good at it.
Comes with the basic 30-round magazine, a full auto capability. 30 rounds, if you were to hold the trigger down, will last you about 3.5 seconds. It has a collapsible buttstock, and then we attach it also with a sling that we mount on the side of Face.
How'd it work? It worked great, dude. Do it again. Just right. You know, I want more gack, more shit flying. More shit, more shit. More debris.
Joe really wants us to know what we're doing so that he can basically shoot a scene and not have to do quick cuts to make up for the fact that the actors don't know what they're doing.
Watching him in the movie and how much he was training, it was remarkable, man. Remarkable. And how, like, he was like precision with that thing.
Suck on that, Cardan. Every type of movement you see the actors do is all instinctive because it's been drilled in them so much through the hours of training that it should be instinctive.
Our trainer has broken it down to basically the bare essentials from we walk into a room and see a gun in front of us and go from that step of even how to approach that gun to running an M4 machine gun with a Glock strapped to your leg with a combat round of ammunition, which is 300 rounds of ammunition, being able to take that into a field situation and deal with any sort of malfunction with your gun and continue to pursue your target.
3, 2, 1, action!
He's very capable of changing magazines and switching from his main weapon, which is his M4, right to his handguns. He's done some very quick mag changes, some of the quickest I've seen on camera.
We had a shot in the film where he was able to, from essentially a leaning position, he was strapped to the side of this container, and from the leaning position, fire, reload, and resume firing in under 4 seconds, which shatters the old Val Kilmer Heat moment where he reloads behind the car, blows out of the water. Of all the stuff we took out of the movie, that might have been the one that broke Bradley's heart the most.
And that's because Joe wants it to look real. And if you can accomplish that, it reads on camera. You can't fake it well.
At any point in that movie when he's handling a gun, watch his hands. He looks like a guy who's been shooting his entire life.
I have bruises all over my body, my hands, and so you realize the wrist strength that's necessary to be able to run those guns. But it's awesome. It's like being a kid, being able to do that, shoot blanks, you know, it's amazing.
He's having a lot of fun while he's doing it. It's hard for him not to smile while he's firing the weapon.
I'm become like a gearhead with the military paraphernalia. Yeah.
I think to this day we're still trying to get him the M4, a good one, because he's not, he won't take the $800 version. You can get a big 5. He wants he wants one that's been through the sand in Afghanistan. So one day, Bradley, one day we'll get you that gun.
Oh, I forgot to like this motherfucker.
That's a cut. Hey, dude, when you throw it, like really throw like you're throwing a baseball.
People come to me and say, hey, I heard you the new Mr. T. I'm like, dude, man, I'm not a new Mr. T. Can't nobody be Mr. T but Mr. T, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, you're all good, boss.
You say what? What is that? I know this is my first big thing, and you know, I'm breaking out into acting and stuff, so I'm learning a whole lot. So I'm just keep learning. I see it as a big learning experience. Dog, this is my first rodeo, and right now I'm about to be the clown.
These things are those containers hitting right by you.
Today I gotta dodge fake stuff.
Now you just gotta back that up so you're landing on that ass.
What the fuck? How the hell I'm gonna know where to fucking land when I'm rolling around this motherfucker?
Remember, don't crash into that thing. They can only go so fast, okay?
Y'all need to get the hell up out of my way today, man. 'Cause I'm freight train, baby.
All right.
I'm moving. Hey, this is the most training I've done since I did this damn movie.
See the little red dot?
I gained 10 pounds.
Here's what Rampage is training up at this point. Hey, what's in craft service?
I had to train myself, stop laughing, stop. I had to smack myself, beat myself up so I get serious, you know. The hard part is trying not to laugh, man. That's the hard part.
I love when you're like, tell me you can say some stupid shit.
These guys are just so funny, and sometimes they're just improv. And you know, so I'm used to what the scripts say, right?
Sorry, PA.
Buy yourself some toast points. Buy yourself some
Yeah, I need to get me a new van.
You couldn't get no better cast than Liam, Bradley, and Shalto. And I'll tell you what, Shalto is a perfect Murdoch.
I am Prince Boffa. I am the advisor to the king, and we are here at United Nations to present our case.
What do we don't have this thing called
This is the
translation?
United Nations, okay?
Right, I
Where's
know
our
this.
translation?
Where's our translation?
Sorry, this is not United Nations. I can't understand it. It's speaking Spanish. Forget United Nations, king. We go home. On the first day, Rampage said to me that I should, he said, are you going to apply for citizenship? Because then we'll be the only 2 African Americans on the A team. Rampage is demonstrating how you actually get out of cuffs.
This is how you get out of cuffs.
Well, how you get them to the front of your body.
I swear I've done this before.
Sure, man. You're okay.
I swear.
No, I believe you. I believe you.
Shalto, I swear.
I've seen it on YouTube or something.
All right.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, he just got me stuck and heck he walks away.
For me, I'm just like a big kid right now because it's just so fun for me to be playing a character who I looked up to so many years. You know, it's just like a blessing.
I got this. This is what I. Oh. They take the tattoo off here, put it over here, cover up the tattoo in here. They chose my wardrobe and chose everything. It took them a couple hours to see which mohawk they wanted, and they finally chose the one they liked, and it was cool, you know. This is actually the first time that I'm wearing my mohawk for real.
I like this look on you,
You do?
Rampage. I
Alright,
think,
so
I
you
think you
go
can
post
use it,
pictures
you know,
up
for
again?
going into the ring, and if you're gonna fight someone,
You're messing with the macho man.
This guy too funny.
Let's force Rampage at 5 in the morning. We don't need him till 10. Oh, yeah. Nice.
I tried to hold it.
What is wrong with you?
I tried to hold it.
from the beginning. Okay. So, okay, no, let's do it. Let's do that. So A-Team was my favorite show. My parents didn't let me watch it because it was too violent for the first year. So I was 11 years old when it came out. Okay, that's drilling. We're gonna stop that. I'm gonna use my new Hollywood power to get that stopped. I do all my own stunts, and I also did the where I'm trying to start the car battery, and I do a somersault and I land on the bottom. I did that as well.
Great. Yeah, I guess he did do it. And then we just had his double on standby. We got him a little dirty, and we just made it look like he actually did it.
Could I have a stunt guy to do this? Is high, man. I mean, I could hurt myself.
It's beyond high maintenance, man. It's prima donna.
Just hold it there. Hold it. Breath. That's it. Do you see my stand?
Yes.
He doesn't really look like me. He looks like David Duchovny from X-Files.
Look, that was Duchovny standing too. I asked specifically for why.
Because he doesn't look like me. Did you see District 9? Did you see my film?
Actually, I haven't. But I heard you were amazing in it. I heard it was great. So, yeah.
Shalto, he's a madman. When I saw District 9, I thought he's a great guy.
You see, did you spell? You see, my name is spelled wrong. You just check this.
I haven't even noticed
You see
it
that?
on there.
Look at that. It's RLTON.
Oh, yeah.
Just actually just take it right off right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just.
But now he's turned into this uncontrollable person.
People say I'm being difficult. Bradley, look how perfectly Bradley's is spelled. Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper has managed to kiss every girl on the movie where there was no kiss in the script.
I was just wondering, if maybe Murdoch couldn't really do the kiss. Because, no, I don't know, it's just...
Oh, right here.
I don't get to kiss anything. This is what I get.
I love District 9, and I was so excited to meet him. And then, things started disappearing in my trailer. My space heater was gone. Then my Ugg boots were gone.
It's like a show.
My Ugg boots are pink.
He's a nice enough guy, but massive ego.
What mic is this that you have?
This is a Sanken
Okay.
wireless lav. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, that's fine. Ah, fuck! Your hands are freezing now. Can you just warm? I come from a warm country. This is a fucking freezing country. It's freezing cold outside. Go. Ah, fuck! Okay, no, fuck. It's culturally insensitive what she's doing. Do you listen onto this?
Oh no, we don't listen at all.
Right. Because I saw that fucking Christian Bale thing. Did you work on Terminator?
I don't know if this whole
on shelter, I want the camera. On shelter, I want the camera.
He's just become like a disaster animal.
It's just exceptionally bright light. I mean, that's like the sun coming in there, And then as we look at, I'm squinting. It just feels like you wouldn't squint in a courtroom,
He's becoming a monster.
I'm not trying to say how you should do your job. Look at this way. No squint, right?
Yeah.
Check what happens when I do that.
He won't shut up when he goes to his spot. He won't take his mark.
Oh, I'll teach you a trick.
Yeah?
Look into the light with your eyes closed, like that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
He improvs all the time. Never listens to anybody.
Yeah, and then...
Okay, just keep looking at it. So 3 minutes, though.
Dude, I don't have 3 minutes.
How's that?
It just fucking burnt my
Your
eyes.
tie is
man.
completely
No,
fucked
it fucking burnt my eyes, man. Just light it however you want. It's really not a problem. Just Whatever you think, you know.
One movie in the States, see what happens?
Look at all these people. There's obviously a reason why people have vests. We should get a vest, Evan. You know, there we go. Fucking crews walking around with fucking vests on. What if fucking Contagion falls on my head, man? What the fuck then? Huh?
I hear you.
Do you want me to sign that one of me?
No, it's okay.
No, seriously, I'll sign it.
It's okay. You meant by warming my hands up?
No, that's ice. That's not good. When you hear actors going, I did all my own stunts, they're lying. Action. Hello. How was that? Good.
This is Sosa. Right, okay, this story is so convoluted, so let me see if I can get through this.
Jesse's part of DCIS, which is Defense Criminal Investigation Services. I can't believe I said that right.
And my job is, I have to basically police the A-team.
And she's just convinced these guys are bad news and outlaws, and they're just out there for the, for the payday.
Chris, come on, you know we're innocent. I'm here because we didn't do this. I'm here because we were set up. I'm here because in the end, the truth is worth the risk.
Joe's pitch to me was more kind of centered around my character and what I was going to be doing in the film. And he basically said, we want to create this amazing female character who is not like, the quote-unquote tough cop-like character, which can sometimes be, I think, really hard to get that right balance of femininity and also strength, and it can come off really scary.
She and I had the same feeling about we can't go butch. We can't do the whole chick with a dick thing. Forgive me for...
Yeah, is that the penile one?
But we can't do that. She had to be able to laugh and kind of take the piss and try to ground it in as much reality as you could.
We want to make this person have a great sense of humor. She's got to be cool. She's got to be with it. She's literally got to be kind of like a member of the A-team, even though she's kind of against them.
What are you doing in lovely Frankfurt, Fräulein?
Oh, well, I'm just here to arrest you and your little team.
We got lucky because she and Bradley have great chemistry. Great chemistry. It's one of those things where you really hit the ground running.
You're lying, and don't call me baby.
You're the one who always wanted me to call you baby. Don't you remember that whole fetish thing with the diaper and the binky? I'm just going off of past experience.
Oh, suck it.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. That was the next thing you'd always say.
Yeah.
Baby, suck it. Ask him. No, listen. Ask that guy if he likes bratwurst. Get him. He's moving. Das Wagen to Bratwurst. God.
You're such an idiot.
Just bring that pretty head home. I don't want to bullet through it.
You're lying.
Okay, I do want to bullet through it, but that's just my shit.
God.
Sosa and Face had a fling, had some sort of a relationship, and that ended not in necessarily the best of ways.
Oh, we were doing something else. What were we doing? Do you remember what it was we were doing? It was in a bedroom. You don't remember?
The only thing I remember is leaving, which is my fondest memory of you. And they have this ongoing ex-lover struggle that's, I hope, is really fun to watch. Oh, I'm gonna find you, Face. That didn't work at all.
Go back to one.
Her character is so vital to the plot, and you have to believe that these people have passed together, and that there's this shit that's unresolved and all that stuff.
Face is kind of a bullshit artist, but he's charming, and he's incredibly smart and incredibly skilled and talented in what he does. He's just pushing her buttons through this whole movie, which is so interesting and fun, that kind of sparring dynamic between the two. Stop.
Face, your girlfriend's back.
Maury and Terry play Ravage and Gammons, my muscle, and they're hilarious.
We are the B team, as we've decided to call ourselves, for obvious reasons.
B standing for bitch team.
Yeah, the bitch team. We are Jessica Biel's bitches.
The great thing about their characters is, I mean, they're very scary and intimidating, but what Joe's doing with them, which I think is brilliant, is really letting them be two guys, you know, riffing off each other.
Maura, what do you think about the A-Team? You're fired.
That's your best you've done yet on this film.
Still
It's
going?
too bad it's not in the movie. Kurt, get in the
Kurt,
car.
get in the car.
Get in the car.
Get in the
Kurt.
car, dude. Kurt.
There's room.
That's not Kurt.
He's really made their characters so real. Instead of just two goons just standing there, you know, looking tough, they're really able to show off their personalities and show that these people who do these jobs are not people with sticks up their asses.
It's about how we feel about our work.
Oh, sorry. You were talking. Go. I'm listening. Go.
No, I'm done. I got through it.
I'm just looking at this experience as a really great opportunity to pay homage to whatever the fans who saw the show used to love about it, but then bring a really cool, gritty, Carnahan humor feel to this new version of it.
Jesse's understood, okay, this is my role in this film, but also tried to go above and beyond what you'd seen other people do in roles similar to this one.
Captain.
Yes, sir.
Good work.
Thank you, sir. I think I expected a little bit more of, you know, boys club film, rah-rah, let's blow some shit up kind of a movie, and it's got a lot of that, but there's so much more depth than I ever imagined. I'm so sorry, Days. Let's go.
My name is Jamie Price. I was the visual effects supervisor on the A-Team. This is a reel of visual effects before and afters, as we like to call them, and they show a little bit about how the work was done. This first shot is the establisher of the FOB, the forward operating base. As you can see from this original plate, there's a fairly large set against a nice Vancouver background, which we transformed into a desert background with a full army base down below. And you can see here that all of the ground has been replaced, and in fact the only thing that's real in this frame is the body of the chopper, because we had to replace the rotor blades as well when we did the composite. This was for the scene where the A-Team drives the truck into the Tigris River. Again, you can see here that there's very little background that was actually usable, and you can see how we separated the truck from the background by rotoscoping each detail on the truck. And once it was isolated, you can see how we added the background as a 3D matte painting, created the wall and the surroundings, including the container, and there you can see the digital double of Hannibal, and then laying back in what we could of the background and all of the small elements that make the actual impact look realistic. This is an all digital shot. Everything you see in the frame here was created on a computer, starting with the model of the Osprey. It's a fairly detailed wireframe that was then textured and given appropriate lighting and placed into an all-digital background. The background was a matte painting for the distant landscape. And you can also see in a moment that the bridge, which is between the Osprey and the background, was an actual 3D model, so we could get perspective change on that. It was all lit, textured, rendered, and animated in with the scene. The gun and all the projectiles and all the lighting effects were also added, including the effects on the lens. And this is the reverse, what the Osprey is shooting at, also an all-digital shot. In this case, the tunnel was modeled completely, as was the car, and then the Osprey that appears in the foreground. You can see all of the details, including the impact points on the explosion, and also the explosion itself, which was a combination of some practical pyrotechnics and also some digital fire. And then each tracer and bullet round was also added in, including the shell casings in the foreground. And here's the final shot with all the details put together. For this scene where the C-130 is taking off from the airbase, we didn't actually have a C-130, so it had to be added entirely digitally. And we also couldn't smash the canopies on the multi-million-dollar fighter, so we did that digitally as well. So in each of these shots, we had to remove the canopies that existed, add in the digital ones that were broken, and then add in the plane, including all of the wing flex, all of the hydraulics, all of the various exhaust and details that made this scene look real. For the Commerce Bank scene, we had a number of tricky composites and some 3D. Here you can see how we combined some stage photography with some background stunt work on location, melded the two scenes, foreground and background, together into one finished shot, as you see here. This is an establishing shot. As you can see in the first part of the shot, there was absolutely no safe house there. We added that digitally. And to destroy that safe house, we created a 1/5 scale miniature, which we shot at high speed and blew up. We also shot an element of stunt doubles of the A-team that we could use to have them running away from the explosion. In the sky, the airplane, and then the foreground foliage as well was added in. In this shot, as the seaplane approaches the freighter, we had to add the freighter. And in the course of adding the freighter and creating the wake, we decided we'd replace the ocean entirely as well. The final scene that takes place in Long Beach was an interesting blend of techniques. We had some blue screen photography, as you see here, combined with a digital background. We used photography from an actual dock location, but used it to create the digital background of the ship. Here, when the missile impacts the ship, you can see there was no ship in the original background. It was added digitally along with the missile. We also shot a 1/4 scale explosion to use as an element for the impact of the missile. For this shot, the only thing real is Face, who's reduced and laid into the background. The surroundings are all digital, including simulations for the pyro and the smoke. And same for this shot. The foreground is real, but all of the ship and all the explosions are simulations and rendered digitally. So all the illumination of the smoke as the explosions go off is all done digitally. This is an interesting shot that was shot entirely on stage, and we added that background. So this was a great opportunity to take a piece shot on stage and put it out into the real world and add a lot of expanse and detail, as was this. Here you can see the ceiling of the stage, which we had to remove and replace with a digital background that showed the dock environment, including CG simulations of the fire and explosion and smoke. We also removed the safety rigging that was on both the stuntman and the actor. There's actually a transition between the stuntman and an actor on that stage. Similarly with this shot, this container that falls and blocks BA was added digitally. Here you can see the gray shaded version of it. And then there's the final render. And for the end, we started with some photography with stand-in cranes and stand-in ship. You can see the cranes and the ship don't match here. And then we replaced that with a digital version of the aftermath with all of the spilled containers, including a fireboat that's spraying some water onto the smoldering remains of the ship. And for the final view of it, same thing, digital cranes and a digital ship added in the background with some residual smoke. There you can see what we started with. And then we removed some containers so we could see the ship a little better, and then we added in the cranes for the end of the shot.
Hey there guys, I'm Joe Carnahan, the director of the A-Team, and welcome to this exclusive Blu-ray feature for the A-Team DVD. So just so you know, I'll be here throughout the movie talking incessantly about this, that, different details, how much boiled chicken Bradley Cooper had to eat to get those six-pack abs, you know, the important stuff. And then every once in a while, I'll pop back up on screen and explain to you the nitty-gritty details of how we did a particular sequence and show you a little footage to help illustrate the point. Everything from behind-the-scenes footage to storyboards to animatics to model building and visual effects presentations, we'll bring it all. You're gonna notice the graphics above my head and below. Don't freak out. That's part of this whole thing. Above me is a dashboard where you'll be able to get more info on some of the various weapons and vehicles that appear in the movie. So the graphic below me is pretty interesting too. This is a movie about plans, and there are several throughout the film, and every time a step of one of those plans is completed, you'll see the icon flash for a particular character, and the counter will tick up 1 as we get closer to the final plan coming together for the A-Team. So that's it guys, you've been briefed. Enjoy this special Blu-ray feature on the A-Team. So here we have the chop shop sequence, and this is obviously a really pivotal moment in the film. It's the reveal of B.A. Baracus and that famous mohawk, and there it is in all its glory. This scene took about a week of pretty extensive rehearsals to get right, and you've got Rampage Jackson, who is a real mixed martial arts fighter, and you've got stuntmen who are not. So we needed everyone to kind of be in sync, and Rampage is used to actually punching people for real. So the concept of pulling a punch was something that he wasn't really used to. And one stuntman almost unfortunately got knocked out entirely during a rehearsal. And it took a lot of time, a lot of preparation to come down to really a fairly staccato, rapid cut fight sequence. This moment in particular with the stuntman Nito, he was actually cabled, which is what creates the ratchet, the motion of him being kicked backwards. And that was the culmination of this scene. So guys, here we have our jumpstart defibrillator gag, and this was a fairly involved piece of film. Brian Macklight, the stuntman that was standing in for Charlton Copley, had to be rigged and cabled so that on action, when he touched the paddles to the battery, he would be electrocuted and knocked into the air. And he had to come down to the hood of the car and fall off the side. And it's a pretty involved gag. And poor Brian, on the second take that we did, if you notice, I think it's actually the one that's in the movie, he comes down and he really hits his head on the stand that was right next to it, the little crash cart. Hit his head really good. And Charlton, because we were doing what's called the Texas switch, so Charlton was actually down there. So when Brian did the actual gag, Charlton would pop up and he would be frazzled, and you can actually see it in the deleted scenes. But what happened was Brian had hit his head so hard that Charlton was so concerned about Brian that he couldn't pop up. So Brian is sitting there almost concussed, urging Charlton, go, 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 you know, you're on. And Macklight, being such a tough guy, later on when they took his wig off, he said, oh, it was no big deal, I just hit my head a little bit. When they took his wig off, they literally, it was just filled with blood. So he had really gashed his head doing that gag. But it's very funny and it works really well in the movie. So Brian, a job well done. What you guys are seeing here is the FOB, which is the forward operating base, which we built in Burnaby, British Columbia, which is about an hour and a half outside of Vancouver. And it doesn't look anything like Vancouver or British Columbia. It looks like Iraq, which is where it was set, and it was essentially, I think, somewhere like a 75,000 square foot sand pit that they were using. They were going to build a big a Walmart on, I believe, and we happened to find it. Charlie Woods, the production designer, found it and thought it would be perfect for the FOB. And what they essentially are, what these forward operating bases are, you know, basically the military comes in and erects like a city in the desert, and it's got running water and plumbing and you name it. It's you know, full lights, electricity, the whole bit, and they're gigantic. I think the biggest one in outside Baghdad, it may have had somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 55,000 people inhabiting it. And again, this is something that's it's almost like it's a temporary city. And I think Charlie did a really wonderful job. What they you know, especially the way they bring these things in, they bring them in shipping containers, all the materials and supplies they need, and they then use the shipping containers as to function as almost like a blast wall. So we were able to block out what was essentially a pine forest surrounding this big sand pit. And of course, conifers are not really found too much in the Middle East. Pine trees, you don't get a lot of those. Or Christmas tree lots or anything like that. So we were able to kind of, it was a dual purpose thing. The containers did really block out what was around us. And then, of course, the digital wizards took care of removing everything else. So I think you're left with a pretty great depiction of a forward operating base. So here we are in Vancouver, where we built about 2 blocks of downtown Baghdad for the planning sequence. Originally, this was going to be a much, much bigger sequence. And what we had to resort to ultimately was a compromise, because budgetarily it was just prohibitive for us to shoot that big of a sequence. But what we thought was interesting was the cross-cutting of the actual plan with the execution of the plan. So what you're seeing here is basically Hannibal laying out everything that they need to do, and then you're seeing it happen. This was all stuff that was built. That set was about 75 yards of sewer that Charlie Woods, the production designer, built. This really elaborate set with steam coming out of it, and then you see it in the finished film, and it's about 3 seconds long. So that should tell you the amount of work that goes into something, and the specificity of that set. At the end of the day, it was really important, but for its amount of time on screen, you know, it's tough, because a lot of work goes into it to make it look that good for that short a period of time. This is again part of that same set. What you're doing is just a handing off really between all the stage work that we did and then the actual live location, which is what you're seeing now. That was the area of Vancouver that we turned into Baghdad. And here we have probably one of the more elaborate stunts. I wish we could take credit and say that's a stunt man traveling under that truck, but it's a CG guy. This is actually Bradley, though, moving under the truck at about 35 miles an hour and in a fairly precarious position because had anything happened to him, he's going under those truck tires, and that's real. So that was something we really had to rely on Ben Bray, the stunt coordinator, to know his stuff and to make sure that our lead actor, one of our lead actors, stayed safe. Again, you're seeing a fairly elaborate stunt where a guy has to dump a bike. And then what we did was we cabled that bike with the stuntman and had him jump off to look like he was actually leaping onto a moving truck. Now, there was a moment when Aoife, the stuntman, was pulled too far under and he almost wound up under the truck. And this is part and parcel of movies like this, with this level of stunt work and how elaborate it can be. You really need a level of safety and a level of expertise that you're not going to get outside of Hollywood. This is where the best work, and you've got some deeply skilled people, and unfortunately nothing happened, but as you can see, this is pretty hairy stuff. Jumping onto moving trucks and having lead actors cabled under moving trucks is pretty serious. Here we have the Murdoch escape from the mental institution in Mannheim, Germany, and this was shot on a set. The whole thing was a stage, particularly for the gag that we had to do involving this Humvee. This was arguably one of the more precision things that we had to do because we had an image on a wall that then we had to transition to an actual Humvee crashing through the wall. The Humvee itself was on a large cable that functions as what they call a descender, which is to stop something from moving forward so that the Humvee could come almost full speed through the wall and wind up inches from the stunt people in the front row without injuring anyone. So it's always hairy, though, because that's a real Hummer. And as you can see right here, it comes through the wall at about the same time. It matches the image almost perfectly. And that was one of those great moments where we did it in one take, and we didn't have to reset it because it looked so great. No one got hurt. All the debris was foam core and not heavy stuff, so there was no real danger beyond the Humvee coming loose from that cable and doing some damage that way, but it didn't happen, and we all walked away safe and sound, and the stunt was a big success. This is a tough scene to put together because it involved hours, days, weeks, months of planning. It's difficult when you're incorporating this amount of digital work, which is non-existent, it's all CGI, into live action, so it took a lot of storyboarding and what we call previs, which is where essentially you're building kind of an animated version, a really rough animated version of the shots, like this one here of Bradley. He's firing an actual .50 caliber machine gun on a blue screen, and then the digital artists are putting in everything around that, the clouds, the other plane, the Reaper, everything. So the amount of preparation for a scene like this, you know months in advance what you need to do and how you're going to do it. And it's funny, the easy part of it is actually the shooting of this type of stuff, which was in a very small set, which is actually 60% bigger than the interior of a real M8 Buford tank, which should tell you how small the insides of those tanks are. So again, a lot of this is stuff that we had to lay out in advance, and we put this set itself of the interior of the tank was on a gimbal, which would move up and down and give the actors something to act against, which is always helpful when you can provide the environment and it's not just them sitting in this box and we're tilting the camera everywhere. We actually messed with their gravity a bit and gave them a sense of what that movement would be like. It was difficult because you don't have the kind of angles that you want in there, and we were using CO2 and fire extinguishers and firing it in there and using lights, and the guys got very hoarse after a while. That stuff has an effect on your vocal cords, and so it was really tough, and it's hot and sweaty and it's difficult, and again, I think that this was still the easy part, the hard stuff, which is what you're seeing here with all the digital work, laying all that out and trying to create, again, something like this, you're trying to create weight and heft and substance, and it would have been very difficult conventionally to shoot this type of a sequence because even with really good model work, it would have been hard. And I don't know how we would have achieved that because, and I think, listen, it's the nature of what the sequence was. I'd certainly never seen anything like it in a movie. And I thought, again, just the notion of somebody like Hannibal, who is brilliant and ingenious, using a tank, using the main gun, the main turret on a tank to try to somehow steer it and fly it, was funny to me. But again, a lot of work went into this, a lot of planning, a tremendous amount of not only the physical component, which is building the gimbal and building the tank itself, but then incorporating that in the digital environment. It was a pretty elaborate, pretty ambitious sequence to shoot. What we have here is the Koenigsbank heist, and what you're seeing right here is about a $160,000 set with what we call a translight outside, which was the exterior of Frankfurt. So that's all on stage on these large risers. So you're about 25 feet off the ground in this huge stage. This was shot obviously live, and this interesting thing about this shot is that they were actually able to circle around Rampage by using a removable wall on top of a roof, so that you think that he's right next to the building. And essentially what they're doing is, as the camera's wrapping around, they're moving the wall back so the cameraman can get around and give you that shot. This is a real coordinated effort between main unit, stunts, and second unit. And there was so much work that went into this, so much of it planned in advance. Obviously, this is another sequence, not unlike the tank drop, that involved volumes of pre-planning and strategizing and figuring out how we were going to do what was going to be live, what was going to be a digital element. As you can see right here, this is a completely digital element, but it begins with a real stuntman being thrown out of the window, and it's what we call a handoff to the digital artist. So this was something that was about as coordinated an assault in the movie as we had, because it took, somewhere in the neighborhood of 350 people to pull this off. You've got real stuntmen going down the building. As you'll see in a moment, Brian Bloom, who was one of the actors, was also cabled and taken up about 11 stories on a safety line. It's just a single harness that's cabling him off and preventing him from plunging to his death. So that's this is a pretty hairy few days. And this is Charles, again, one of our stuntmen, really going down the side of a building. And people had asked me, how did I CG this moment that's playing behind me? And we didn't. That's really a stuntman. And initially the idea was that he was going to run down the side of the building. And in our previs, you actually saw a guy looked like he was running down the side of a building, and when we got out there to do it, it looked silly. It looked like a guy kind of paddling air with his feet. And in one of these moments, Charles happened to plant his feet and did that, what you see in the finished film, which is this kind of skiing motion. And we saw it, and not only that, I saw that as his feet made contact with the building, sparks were coming off of his shoes. And I actually wanted to go nuts and put sparks in everything. The whole thing, almost like a drag car going down the side of the building, and I think somebody wisely vetoed that decision. But it all culminates in this moment where Pike chases B.A. into this parking garage. And again, this was spread out. I think we shot this early on in the schedule, and everything else much later. And Rampage was really put through the ringer, particularly with this sequence, because so much had to go into him being on hand for the close-ups with the stuntmen when they were going down the building. When he had to run through. Actually, Rampage did a lot of that himself, running through coordinated traffic and stunt drivers to make sure that nothing happened to him. But it was all very precision, pinpoint stuff, and it can get very, very scary. This was a much longer fight, and Ben Bray, my stunt coordinator, was also a very, very close friend of mine. He planned out this really elaborate battle between the two, but Rampage ultimately not Pike getting the best of him, and then it was going to culminate in the scene that you see here, which is essentially like a quick draw contest. It's kind of a Western where Pike is telling B.A., the minute that you pull the hammer back on that weapon, I'm going to draw my gun, and we're going to see who shoots who first. Broken up by this moment where Hannibal runs his car into Pike and breaks up the standoff. So here we have the climactic moment at the end of the film here, the denouement with everybody assembled on the LA docks as Hannibal and Face, their plan begins to unfold here. And what's interesting about this sequence is the amount of what's not there, which is none of the, all these were essentially aerial plate shots that then the boat, the freighter, the container ship was comped in after the fact. So these shots that you're seeing, that boat does not exist. The actors are on stage, and what we were able to do is kind of geographically place so you understood, the audience understand where everyone was. And we've been referring back to Face's plan with the cups. It becomes this whole thing with these containers. Now this was something that required an inordinate amount of planning because really it was conceived with about 4 weeks left of shooting. And we had nothing. This was basically a discussion we had where we thought we have to end this film in a really big outre manner. And this seemed to be the way to do it. So initially what I had was this entire setup, this entire dock setup, complete with the boat and the cranes and everything that we that was involved in the shooting of it, set up in my hotel room. And we blocked it out, and we literally took a lipstick camera and just shot the whole sequence and then put it together that way. So we would have essentially kind of a working miniature. And second unit also was hugely helpful in that because they did the same thing. So that as you're seeing all the BMWs cross and all this, the precision driving that they had to do, we knew what that was going to look like so that we could also back it into the planning scene that Face, we'd already shot that scene. So we knew that helped frame what we were going to do. And now as you see this, the Lynch's plan beginning to unravel, it's Pike taking over and kind of determining that Lynch is completely out of his depth, and now I have to save the day. And the best way to save the day when a plan is involved is to become the monkey wrench. This was all, again, none of this was there. This was Brian Bloom, the actor, mimicking, pantomiming, firing a rocket launcher at a blue screen. And then the digital artist putting everything in after. And again, the amount of planning. And it was already a difficult shoot, and we already had other things to do. So you can imagine with 4 weeks remaining, how much time had to be spent working on this sequence. It was pretty astronomical, and no one was sleeping much. Because sets had to be constructed and built. And what you have happen here is this container ship begins to go over, is Bradley and Rampage primarily on a set, but what you have is a little digital man running that then we had transitioned to this scene right here, which is the real Rampage going down a rope and landing on a stage. And what we did was we marked out on the blue screen where the containers would land. And as you can see, as he begins to run and the containers start to fall, Rampage was basically ducking right here non-existent containers, and they were put in after the fact. So he had to do this great big run and imagine that these things were slamming down next to him. And it was pretty funny to watch because you couldn't imagine that it would become the sequence that's playing behind me.